Well, well, well. Once again, it's been a very long time. But this time, I bring lots of stories for you to listen to while maybe you're driving, or trying to sleep, or cooking, cleaning. Maybe you're stressed and you clicked on this video and figured maybe this is less stressful than whatever she means by getting deported. First of all, before we get started, I've got a little bit of a surprise for you. I cut my hair. What do you think? Do you like it? Is it cute? I quite like it. Yes. Goodness, where do I even begin? I was going through it, and that's not even what I want to get into today, or right now, or this video. I just want to talk about one thing for now, and we can slowly catch up with time, and you can put the pieces together over the next few weeks, and by the end you can go, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. I was going through it, and I decided to step away for just an unknown amount of time until I could figure it out. And thankfully, I was invited to go to TwitchCon Europe. I've never been to Europe, so I was excited to use this opportunity as a vacation for the first time in a long time. In preparation for this trip, many months ahead of time, I applied to get my passport renewed. And time again, weeks later, they would come back saying that my photo was incorrect. They kept on saying it was too green, and frankly, I don't know what that means. Too green? I took handfuls of photos at the place they provided on their website. The background was white. My hair was tucked behind my ears and out of my face. And they just kept taking me around. So, when push came to shove, they provided me with what's called an emergency passport. I've never heard of this before, so I asked all the questions I could. I told them all the countries and cities that I would be in, and I wanted to ensure that it would work and it would be okay. They said yes, everything is fine. I pack my bags. I pick every single outfit for every single day. Because after TwitchCon, I was going to go to Germany. I was very excited. I head to America to pick up a friend. We make our way to the airport and we head to Rotterdam. It's about a 10-11 hour flight. Tanked it in economy and called it a day. At this point, I had already been traveling from New Zealand to America, which is about 13 hours. 2 flights. Back to back, heading to Europe. I'm ready, I'm excited, and I'm tired. We're waiting in line to get through customs. I'm setting up my camera. I'm already figuring out which outfit that I want to wear. I'm excited. I take a deep breath. I finally make it to the front. I hand them my passports. They look me straight in the eye for just a moment. And they say, "You have to come with us." About 2 or 3 officers walk me to this kind of side room. I guess there's no other word for it. I don't think. Just this kind of off-side room where everyone can see that it looks like you're in trouble. And I wait there for about 30 minutes. They call me in. They ask me question after question after question. They ask to see my bank account and my bank details. How do I make my money? Where does it come from? How often? What do you do? How long have you done it? Where are you going? Show me receipts to your hotels. How long? When did you get the tickets? I was interrogated 4 hours off and on. No food, no water. Couldn't walk away, couldn't go anywhere. After several hours, they took my fingerprints. They took my photos. They confiscated my passports. And I was asked to wait. I waited for hours. At this point, the friend I traveled with had to take off, and I was alone. I tried to call the US Embassy, but it was Friday. And not only was it Friday, but it was after hours. Someone from after hours picked up and frankly said, "I wish I could help you, but we can't help you until Tuesday because Monday is a public holiday." At this point, I don't know how I'm going to get home, if I'm going home, when, what I'm going to do about TwitchCon, because they had scheduled 2 meet and greets to meet you guys. I was so excited. I've never done a meet and greet before, and I was over the moon to meet you all in person. I didn't want to tell anyone yet what had happened because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I sat there quietly, not telling anyone yet what was going on. Several more hours pass. I'm sitting with people that don't speak English. I'm too scared to ask any questions, and every time that door opens, it's never for me. So finally, they ask me to come back. And this guy is standing in the doorway with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and he hands me a stack of papers. And when I say stack, I mean the biggest fat stack of papers I've ever seen, and 90% of it is not in English. I don't know what it says, I don't know why or what's happening, and then he promptly closes the door. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I don't know what this paperwork says, and I still don't have my passport. I go to the front window where there's like 5 customs officers who all look very large and a little scary. And I say, I'm so sorry. I don't know what this means. And they say, we'll be right with you. Another 30 minutes pass. 40 minutes. An hour. And they come out and I'm like, hi, what's happening? They said, you need to come back to see us at 7:30 in the morning. It's about 5, 6 o'clock at night, right at that moment. And I said, wait, you want me to come back in the morning? Where am I going to stay? He said, I don't know, wherever you want. I can't leave the airport. I'm not really even in the airport at this point. I said, okay. But what's happening? Am I going home? Am I going somewhere else? And they said, we're sending you back to America in the morning. I said, I don't live in America. I live in New Zealand. But because the flight I took to Rotterdam was coming from America, that's the only trip that they were going to cover. Which is fine, but that means I have to find a way to put some money together to buy another ticket to go home, which I didn't have at the time, which is fine. And that's it. They have nothing more, nothing less to say. They give me my paperwork. Oh, I'd ask about the passports. I said, could I not just travel to Germany since that was already on the docket for me to do? They said, no, we can't have you going anywhere else in our country. So I said, okay, thank you. I take the papers, I put them in my bag, and I put my head in my hands, and I take a deep breath. Mind you, they've already confiscated my bags. They have my passport, and the only thing I have are the clothes on my back. I go out to the section of the airport and figure out what I'm supposed to do. It's not the best airport in the area I was in, and I've never had to stay overnight at an airport, so I'm not fully equipped to understand the best set of actions here at this point. And I haven't really had a moment to digest everything that happened, to digest that I'm not going to TwitchCon. I'm not going to see my friends. I'm not going to go to Germany. I am not going to see Enos. I have to go home. So I venture around the airport. At this point, I can't even eat. I'm thirsty. It's been 6, 7 hours. I ask around, and apparently there's a little hotel inside the airport, which I had never really heard of before, so this was good news. I find the hotel. The hotel is $700 a night. So I think the majority of you would probably have said you'd rather sleep in an airport. And that's completely understandable. But at this point, I'm a 5'2" small girl by themselves with no identification. Just have my own bag in a country I've never been in my entire life, around a lot of people that don't really speak English. So do I want to stay overnight in an airport until 7:30 a.m. from 7 to 7? No. No, I don't. I do not. So I foot the bill, pay the $700. That's this tiny room, a tiny bed, and a tiny bathroom. I turn off the lights. I hop in the bed, and I cry. I just cry. And then I go to sleep. There isn't really much to do. It's final. You have no choice. I don't think I'm going to take this out of the video. Do you hear that? Almost done. Almost done. Take your time. This is what happens when I record when it's not nighttime. I wake up, I make a post, and tell everyone what's going on, which it's a little bit rough at this point because the hours are so starkly different from what I'm used to. It's polar opposite time zones at this point. I'm jet lagged, night is day and day is night kind of thing. I know this is small, but God, the idea of showering and having to put on the same clothes makes me feel yucky. But you know what? That was the least of my problems at the time. I was so anxious about the whole situation I couldn't eat, which probably didn't help anything. But I think from when I asked my community upon coming back, a lot of you guys have similar feelings when you're anxious, that you don't really eat. I can't eat when I'm scared or anxious. Anyway, so I get there at 7:30 in the morning, and it's not the same place. I need to go to another place that they've instructed me, and it's this big glass box, and you can't see through it, and there's a button on a metal pole, and it says press this and wait. I press it, and I wait 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Several people have come out of this area. Not for me. I felt like a little puppy dog waiting for anything. A look, a glance, anything. And all I hear is this repetitive sound that's across the way. I don't know if it was a coffee machine or what it was. And I recorded it for you guys. But I figured that maybe the first video back, I will just very gently ease you into why I was gone. And then as we continue on, I will show you all the video footage I took. I'm kind of easing back into things, so this is just a light-hearted chat for the moment. But anyway, it took a handful of hours for someone to come out and find me. And both of them have to escort me all the way to the plane. I get on, And they hand my passport and documentation to the captain and say, "You're not allowed to give her her passport until the plane lands and she's off the plane." They weren't mean, but this was some obscene strictness. I don't know if this is common. I've never experienced this before. I haven't really spoken to anyone who's been deported before, but it seemed intense to the captain, it seemed intense to the stewardesses, and it seemed intense to those that were around me listening. So it seemed like everyone thought that I was up to no good, or I was being deported for a horrible reason because they were so stern about it. Anyway, I get on the plane. I'm relieved because I'm going somewhere. And the captain comes up to me and he takes a kneel. What did I say? Takes a knee is what I meant. Takes a knee. And he says, "What happened? Can you tell me what happened?" I explained everything that I explained to you now. And he says, "I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. It doesn't even make any sense. None of that makes sense." And I agreed. He handed me my documents and my passport, and he said, "Here, you can have them. I don't need to wait until the plane lands." And he was sorry, and he said if I needed anything to let him know. Let's rewind for a quick second. At the very end of it being interrogated, when I kept on asking why this was happening, because I'm sure all of you who are listening along and nodding, are all probably wondering, well, why? Why did it happen? All I was told at the end of being interrogated, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "It's purely political. As of 2 years ago, America no longer accepted emergency passports from the Netherlands. So we don't accept emergency passports from Americans." That was it. As simple as that. My entire trip just reamed into the ground for something out of my control. However, the irony is that it's been known for a while that they didn't accept American passports. I take responsibility for not looking this up on my own because I called the US Embassy 3 times. I called them 3 times to double, triple check. Hey, is this country okay? Does this country accept emergency passports? Will I have problems? Do I need to keep in touch with you? And they said everything's fine. It'll work where you're going, don't worry. So I put full trust into the official US Embassy of New Zealand instead of doing my own checking. So that's on me, I admit. But you would think that someone that's in charge in that position would know. So I got pretty screwed over. But the good thing about all of this is that sometimes life is supposed to test you. It's supposed to put you in really nasty positions, really uncomfortable positions, hardship that you would never want anyone to endure, to be scared and alone And if you make it on the other side of it, I'm gonna be really real with you. My dog barked and I had to pause. I don't know what I was saying. Sidebar here between all of us. I'm recording around 3 o'clock and it's daytime and the dogs are up, the cat is up. I have been able to record at night because I go to bed very early to be live by 6 a.m., which means I wake up at 4 a.m. So I think I'm going to start recording in the mornings when everything's quiet. There's nothing going on. So unfortunately, this is going to be just a very short yap session to catch you guys up at the bare minimum of what happened. And I'd like to take some time with all the footage that I recorded from the trip and put it together for you guys for Friday. So here's the deal. I went through a lot during this month and several weeks of being gone. And I will explain more later. All you need to know, for those of you listening right now, is that every Tuesday and every Friday there will be a new video uploaded to this channel. That I can guarantee. And if there's not, I will let you know ahead of time. I will keep in touch with you. And if you want to know outside of that what might be going on, just come over to the stream. Come over to my Discord. But I have a lot to tell you. I have a lot to catch you up on. From my feelings to my mental state, to people I met and things that I did and things that I saw, how I came out the other side of being deported from the Netherlands, to not being able to see you guys in Europe, to seeing you in LA. I went through a lot, but I needed it. I was on some of my last bits of energy the last time I posted, the last time you heard from me. And I wasn't able to upload anymore because I don't think I was in the right place to provide any of you happiness or calmness. As much as it seemed like in the comments you were grateful and thankful and you listened to it all the time, I felt wrong because I wasn't happy. I was miserable. I was sad. And I didn't want to provide that for any of you. You deserve better than that. So I left for a long time to shed whatever old skin and leave none of it behind. Opposite. To leave all of it behind is what I meant. And never think about it again. And come back better. And here I am. So the moral of the story is sometimes getting deported from another country and being scared out of your absolute mind and being alone to endure all of that, it's kind of worth it. I'm really glad it happened. I'm glad it happened the way it did. I'm glad it happened when it did. Because then I wouldn't have so many cool stories to tell you soon, coming Friday. Bad things happen for a reason. And we don't always know right away. Sometimes we don't know for a long time. But they're supposed to happen. They end up carving us into what we're supposed to be to handle the next thing that life gives us. So, I look forward to catching you guys up soon. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's had all of my other videos on repeat, to everyone who's been waiting and kind, who came to my stream the other day and said that they're excited to see me back, that they can't wait for another one, another video. I can't wait to be better about providing a safe space for you guys and providing some good sleep to some of you. Thank you. Genuinely. I know this channel started out as kind of a test, a theory, a hobby for fun. But now I'm in a place where I want to do more than that. So, I look forward to seeing you Friday. Okay? So hang tight until then, alright? Get some sleep. And I'll see you soon.